Okay, now we have our vulnerable web application juice shop running. So next thing I want you to do is like add this add-on for your Firefox, because we're going to use Burp Suite. Burp Suite is like I mentioned before, it's a web application pen testing tool. It's a community edition. Community edition is the one that you guys get with Kali. It has multiple things we could do: intercept traffic. We can spider. I'll show you. Like spidering is basically like doing allow you to browse the different patterns of the algorithms that you will find. There's a proxy, which means your web requests go through the Burp Suite, so you can capture everything. You could change, for an example, get message to post message. It's a professionally used tool. So normally, if you have to set up proxy, you have to go to the preferences, and then you have to go all the way to networking. If you have not changed here, and then you have to add the proxy information here. It's kind of cumbersome. You have to keep changing back and forth. So what I like doing is I use this add-on called Foxyproxy. So Foxyproxy, where basically you can turn on and off your proxies easily. So once you add the proxies, once you add that to your add-on, so just go ahead and, like I already added, so I can remove it. Once you add it, you can go to the Foxy, click on the click on this option here and go to options. Okay, you'll be getting up here. Then you click add. Okay, on here give it a name. So I gave it mine juice shop. Okay, and then since we are running this web so local, you put 127.0.0.1 and the port is 8080. Okay, that's the port that used on Burp to intercept the traffic. I already done this, so I'll show you what my setup here. I just give it a name, add the proxy IP address, and add the port number, and then I'm going to cancel it. So once, what you could do here is now whenever you need to run proxy on this specific website, all you have to do is go here and turn that proxy enable. Okay, see, when you turn the proxy enable, you'll find out that when I refresh this page, it's not going to go anywhere, because it's trying to the middleman, right? We talked about proxy service on networking class. The server do the request on behalf of you. Most organizations will have. So you can go anywhere when the proxies are turned on. But advantage is using here is now, for an example, if I want to go to Kali, it works here because that proxy is now only working for this specific web page, the Juice sub that I'm running here. So you can go to the other side. So if you change it here on the settings, you cannot do anything, right? You cannot go out to the other website. So that's the advantage here. So now when I turn it off, I can go to this specific site because it's only going for the specific IP address with the port. So now let's go ahead and start Burp Suite. You could easily do this by going into here, search for Burp, okay, and click turn it on. Let's create a project for Burp Suite. It might have updates, okay. We don't have to worry about right now. Let's create a new project. Okay, I guess don't have the option to create a project. Yeah, professional. So we're gonna have to create a temporary project. So use Burp default. Let's do that, and let's click start Burp. So this is gonna start the Burp Suite application. So we could do a lot of stuff. We'll use SQL map and other information as well, but this is the first tool I want to show here. If you have any information here, I would delete them because I opened this probably before. Let's see if I can. Maybe not. Maybe not. This is basically saying the proxy started. So let's navigate a little bit. It's changed. So the last time when I used the interface is completely different. This is a problem with I cannot even use all videos. It's been changed. It says it's running, post and finish. A few options here on the dashboard. I think you can create a new live task. I haven't done this before. Probably give the path to a specific option. But what I want to first show here is one of the first things you need to make sure, go to the proxies, okay, and make sure intercept is on. If the intercept is on, that means it's intercepting the traffic. If you click on the history, you can see any request goes through this proxy. Options is where I'm going to show you here. So if you want to add a different IP address with a different port number, you need to change this information here. So targets here, this is where with this tool you're able to collect resources for any web application that you want to add. So you'll see when I'm start working on a site, you're going to see a lot of information here. Proxy, we talked about it here. And where's the spider? Maybe spider is in a different location now because I don't see the spider. They might have changed. There used to be a tab here called spider. Okay, let's go to the intruder. Okay, this is the intruder. Intruder you can use to automate some of the requests. You can open requests multiple times. Like remember we talked about fuzzing. You could do fuzzing, sending surprise requests to a program or processing this to check vulnerability. Repeater, this is the one here. Repeater, it's again you can use to edit the request. Like when you capture request before you send it to the web server, you can edit the request here. Sequencer is another tool that you can use to check for cookies and tokens. Decoder is pretty nice. You could use to decrypt data. Composer here, those are the most important one. Used to change you can use to change information on a web page. So those are some of the basic stuff. I don't remember using extender, but you could use Burp Suite with Rockulus to crack passwords as well. So some basic information of Burp Suite. So let's go to the dashboard here, right? So let's go to our web page here and let's turn on our proxy to Juice up, okay? And what I want to show you to pay attention here, let's see if I can split the screen. Gonna go probably a little much here. Then what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go to the proxy and I'm gonna go to HTTP history. I'm gonna click on something here. As you could see now, it popped up, right? It popped up here with the first request went through. Okay, so we send a get messages when I click on that specific option here. It went through the proxy here. Now we're capturing it. So you could actually see the get message. So this is the path we requested. Who am I command, kind of like path, but maybe it's just a path of that web page. Host, okay, the agent, we use the Firefox, right, to get that extra information here. Accept JSON information here, the language, the encoding, okay, the path, and excuse me, and then the cookie information, right? Webmaster status equal, and the cookie status is here. Okay, if modified information. Okay, so now we can see we are capturing multiple information here. If you go to dashboard, normally it should capture dashboard, but don't worry about it for right now. But I just want to make sure that you can capture information when you click on some information on the specific item. So see, now I click bunch of other stuff. Now you could see, okay, just traffic is generating, and you could see what's going in between. For an example, let's say I want, instead of get, I need to change this. I should be able to, yeah, I can send it to the intruder. There's multiple options. You can do copy URL. You can add this to a specific project if you're working on. Normally I thought you could, I think it's a different area. Maybe the interceptor here, instead of post, yeah, I could do the post instead of get before I forward the traffic. Okay, so those are the things we're going to learn, but I want to show you, like, you could edit the request before it forwarded to this web page. So what you're doing here, the traffic coming from my browser going to intercept from the Burp Suite, and it'll forward you based on what information you're going to give, because its intercept is on. You can drop multiple option here. See, anytime I click on something here, it intercepts it, okay, and then I can use the forward option to forward the traffic. So again, make sure before you do this, you need to make sure the proxies turn on for this specific, because if I turn it off and try to do something here, you'll see that what happened. Yeah, it popped up for some reason. For that, I don't know. You will not see anything being captured if I turn it off. So make sure it's always turn it on. Okay, I'm resetting few things to tell you. There used to be a scanner. See the scan option here. So by default, like fuzzing or crawling to the web page is automatically done here on the new Burp Suite. It's the older one I had. I had to go to the target. Once I have the target here, I can right click and scan. It's not available anymore, but I'll show you. It looks like it's scanning most of it, so make sure again you proxy set up for Juice shop. Okay, okay, I'm not going to the, let's turn this off really quick, just so I can get into my main page. Okay, so I am on the main page. I'm gonna go ahead and enable the Juice shop for my proxy, and if I go to my Burp Suite, right now if I go to proxy, looks like I'm gonna close this and start it again, so just you guys get a fresh idea of what I'm doing here. Burp again. Funny, right? Burp again. Just do a default, since we can't change much here, since it's a community edition. We have limited options, but good enough to learn most of the stuff that we need. So now if I go to proxy, and if I go ahead and refresh this page, okay, now it pops up to my interceptor because the interceptor is on. Click forward all these requests, keep hitting forward. You can read them, what's going on. Like again, there's a lot of GET requests. Anything that when you send a GET request, there's a bunch of goes back and forth. So if you keep forwarding, you can see what's going on. Like sometimes you will see cookie information, content code. Like those are some of the things that are important stuff that you can pay attention to. You can always go back and look at this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and forward them all the requests. So there's a lot to load on this page. So once you click forward, that's done, right? You can go to HTTP history. Now you can analyze any of these requests came back. So this is the request. This is what's sent to the web page. This is what responded back from the web page. So make sure you go, especially if you're doing CTF, sometimes you could find very important information here. There's some kind of a socket.io, a transport layer request being sent here, polling, okay, get socket.io. There's some kind of a polling going on here, and I see that it did send some kind of security identification for the WebSocket. Maybe something we need to look at, pay attention to. If you go further, you will see some pages like the actual HTML information, the port number, and here's again, sometimes you can find information here, misconfigurations, intentional passwords, username left alone. So it's good to take some time to take a look at some of this information. So this is all here, but I want to point out here, you could spend some time looking at here all the requests went and back and forth. If you go to the target now, okay, you should see information again that went back and forth on the information we looked at. So if you can expand it, now you can see some of the folders that's been already scanned. Like this is like running the what's that, directory busting tools that we use, GoBust or something similar. It used to be you had the scan option here. You could add the scope here, okay. If you want to keep this specific IP address to a scope, you can add it to a scope, okay. Compare sitemaps. There's a few other stuff you could do, like used to be scanner here. Auth analyzer, here's try to do like automatic authentication analyzing. We'll get some of these later, but you could expand here and see what information has been pulled through from those basic requests we sent. So we looked like API folders there. There's another folder inside there called Contics or something I can't spell, and some assets here. Sometimes I like to look in to see what information being pulled up, like images, like bunch of images from that front page. A JavaScript here. JavaScript is here. Another JavaScript. Another folder called REST, and this admin folder. Some kind of a script here. We might want to look into this script. Okay, we can like send to intruder, but just basic here. So not going into too much detail. That socket.io, that weird information pulled up here, look like a mail. So this is something that we can look into later. Okay, and style sheet, almost all the web pages have cross cascading style sheets. That's how you make the page consistent across and make it easier. You have multiple pages. Another JavaScript, and this I'm not sure where this pulled up, but we're not worried about it. So I just want to point up here the target site map shows here some of the information that's been already scope is the site that we scan. Any here you could this is something new, issue identification. I need to pay attention, take a look at it again. So again, let's pay attention to hear what information being requested. So what you need to do to get more information, go ahead and try some of these things. Reviews, okay, there's news reviews for this project. So let's close that. Let's see if I can write some reviews, send back to us. Request. Okay, I'll get back to it. Okay, so got a call from a student. So what I did was, what I want you guys to do is like, go ahead and try different logins. Just navigate around. Okay, see, again, you're not gonna go anywhere. So whenever you click around, make sure you go to Burp Suite, go to your proxy, and make sure you click forward. So all those, because it's intercepting. When intercept is on, you have to click manually click forward for that request to go. So, and you'll see here this little changes. So click forward, keep hitting forward. If you click a lot, you're gonna have to hit a lot again. Click forward a lot. Okay, just trying to generate more traffic to see what Burp can catch. And again, you'll see some stuff here if you go to, like, when I try to log in with the username and user login here. Sometimes you could actually capture the password and username you normally put. And again, spend some time, like, you should be able to see the request here. Like, where is it? Login. There's a user something here. Normally your request, yeah, the test and the password is test. Those are the ones I put, right? And it captured here. And then you'll see the next request coming back from the server saying the password was wrong. That should be able to catch somewhere here. One of the requests here. Anyway, when you go to the target, this is the problem. Normally when we had the scroll option, you could get more information populated here. Right now, I saw the recycle wasn't there, so that might have something new popped up. But we're trying to do here is generate more traffic to see what's this web application have. Okay, I figured it out. The automatic scroll is not doing properly well. So what makes sure you add your target to the scope. Like, I'm going to remove it from the scope. I'm going to add it to the scope. Okay, click no here. So we have a scope now. We're telling basically only use this URL. Okay, then go back to the dashboard. Let's remove this automatic scroll option here, and we'll create a new scroll option. Again, community audition, this live option scrolling is not there. And let's use our proxy. Okay, and let's do a custom scope. And that should have our scope that we added here automatically selected because we already have a scope added. Okay, and scroll down. There's nothing else you need to change. Click OK. So now we go back to the target. Sitemap is still there. We already have some generated. That's fine. Leave it there. What you need to do here, go back. Let's leave the let's go to the target and leave here. So I'm gonna, like, let's see, I'm gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna make this site a little smaller, see if you can see anything's gonna pop up. So again, Burp does not have that automatic scan option. It used to be there. I hate they took it off. Let me make this window a little smaller. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click different things. See, I hope I clicked on all of these. Normally you'll see here things generating when you click on stuff. I'm not sure if you need to intercept is on. Yeah, I don't know if we turn the interceptor off, it's still gonna capture stuff. Let's try that actually as well. So I'm gonna click forward and I'm gonna turn off the interceptor off. Go to the target and let's see if anything's gonna pop up. Language here. Oh, there we go. So you could turn off the interceptor off and click on stuff. See, now much of stuff just came down under the public folder, I guess, or the assets folder. You could try to navigate around different search options here. I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Over here has some about us that looks like add something. Twitter, it's not gonna go anywhere. GitHub, that's not gonna go anywhere. Photo wall, looks like that adds something. Try to click on some of these. Nothing pops up. Help. Some kind of help application. Some kind of a automatic bot running, I guess. Look through the client-side JavaScript in the source taskbar. Yeah, so it's just looking at telling us to click on stuff. Anyway, so I hope this is enough traffic we generated. I wish that automatic option was there, but it's not there. Looks like there's more stuff down here. Okay, so that's good. Enough traffic hopefully generated. Okay, now let's make this bigger for us to look at it. Now what you could do here, look at some of the status code, right? So 200s are good. You could sort these, if I'm correct. Some redirects are here. So you could look at this here. This is the request. What's the response? Like some kind of a E tag here. Connection close. So I would normally look at some redirects, and so we only have 200 and 300 messages just to look around. But now we have more information than we had before, right? We have some challenges here. Looks like a scoreboard here, feedback. So we have a little bit more information than we had. You could run dir buster or go buster to get more information, because that's it automatically will run, because I know that there's a, if I go here, there's robot.txt file, and looks like there's a folder called FTP. It's not allowed for us, so what's in there? Okay, there's some stuff here, looks like quarantine, some extra URL. Is that something that we could add? Looks like this could be downloaded. It's a file. Not sure why these are there. Maybe if FTP quarantine is another directory we are in, and we need to add that to the end, or maybe there's something in this file. I'm not sure yet, but there's a few other stuff here. .md, some kind of a JSON backup. Suspicious errors here. Okay, only MD and PDF files are allowed. So some kind of error log here that you can explore around. Okay, before we go any further with Burp Suite, let's spend some time here on the site. So normally when we do robot.txt is one of the places that we should check. Another place that I would normally go to check information is do full screen. Go to inspect element here. Okay, and let's see if I can move this video a tiny bit up here. So this is the inspector, right? This shows everything on this page. Like it says different grades. For an example, let's say if we see just a bunch of JavaScripts here. I mean, you can we'll get into that in a bit. So this is the body of the page. This basic HTML. So if you're familiar with body, body is where information. So for an example, if I go here, expand something, I can click around to find that specific area of the page. Okay, so this is good sometimes when you're looking for, sometimes they hide flags here. Console is where you can actually execute commands. Debugger is where it's basically debugger. So if you have a bunch of JavaScript scripts here, you could see the JavaScript here, but it's really hard to read, right? So Firefox has this nice feature. You could click on these two arrows, and that's gonna make it, did I click on it? Yeah, that's gonna make the source code easy to read, right? That's what basically it does, like it says pretty. So now you could read the source code. I got a message, let me check. Okay, so oh, my pretty code's gone. So one of the questions on, I think this is on the Hack the Box as well, but there was a competition going on one of the questions that they want us to do on this challenge is find the scoreboard. So this code is a long code. There's a lot of lines here. Should say somewhere how many lines are here. If I do Control A, no, or if I go to the bottom, right, there's 4,000 lines. There's no way we could read the whole thing, right? So you can use the Control F option. All I did was Control F, and then you could type here scoreboard. Okay, so when you do scoreboard, there's a lot of scoreboards too, but we are looking for a path, right? Because we're going to find a path that looking for. So maybe you could put path and scoreboard. Maybe I go the other way. Keep going. Hopefully there's not much here. Scoreboard. No, that's not what I'm looking for. There might be easy way. Somebody else might find a bit easier way here. But I'm looking for, if there's anywhere it says path. Or did I went through all of them? Looks like I went through all of them. Maybe it's not the same thing. So I'm going to put path. Just cheat here a little bit. Okay, so here's the path. So I'm looking for on the source code different path. So I think I wonder if I could do path. So these are all the different paths. So you could actually try administration, accounting, about me. So there's a bunch of paths here. Let's see if I. So no results. Interesting. So because. Okay. See. Okay. Here we go. Again, I cheated a little bit, I think, because it has a uppercase, it has quotes around it. Here, these are the paths. So now we need to do here is like go around up here on this URL and type scoreboard, score-POARD. Okay, and if you press enter, that's one of the flags. So so it shows up here. You guys can try this too. It shows what's been solved, and one of the ones is finding that flag. So let's close this so it's easy for you to see this. Okay, so here is the scoreboard. Looks like by probably running some of the codes I might have solved the one of these flags, error handling flag probably. One of the security misconfiguration is it the FTP fault I looked. So I did solve the scoreboard, okay, scoreboard page. So what else have been solved? So there's a bunch of other stuff solved, right? So now you know where the scoreboard is. Now you could, there's some tutorials you could go through. So I'll leave some of these ones for you to explore around and find, but I'll show some of the other flags that we can find. Like let's do some SQL injection and cross-site scripting related to this module and this chapter. This is again, most of this first part we're doing here is like open source information gathering, because we're not breaking into anything. We're just trying to find what information here. There was another challenge called here's the redirect. It's basically a redirect URL. So I just found the redirect URL here. It's this one here, and if you put it in there search bar, it will take it to wherever the redirect, where you're redirecting. You highlight it and then just do highlight and Control C to copy it, and then you could, I open a new tab for Juice Shop. So I have my scoreboard running on the other end, and I don't think this second one is anything to do any here. That's the one before I just did this bunch of redirects, but the question was asking about cryptocurrency, so that's why I picked the one with the blockchain related to crypto. So that's another flag. So that's nothing related to, I was just going to show some of the open source information that you can gather. There's one more flag here you guys can work on. So if you go to the accounts and logins, and if you go here to not get customers, you're trying to log in. So this one, let's say I am going to log in as deep@test.com, and I'm going to put 1 2 3 4 5 6 as my password. I'm going to do 1 2 3 4 5 It's a password, right? So if you go here, you know, the password retest match works, but if you put 6 here, now they both match, right? So what if I change the 6 password here to 7? Okay, now the password reset match doesn't show up as the password reset match. So now you could go here and give mother's maiden name, whatever that is, and then if you register, you'll find out which password you can log in. That's one of the flags that you could again find here. Again, these are broken authentications that we talked about on the chapter. Another cool flag here is, I think this one is related to input validation. So where is the, yeah, if you go to customer feedback, okay, and again, let's see, you type, I think you might have to log in. Yeah, maybe you can do it as anonymous. So I think this one is basically, I'm going to put test here. I think the problem here is if I do the captcha 77, that's what, 14 plus 4 is 18. See, even that you cannot submit the button. So this challenge, if I'm correct, this one, if you look at on the challenges, I think this one basically wants you to submit without changing the ratings. Even if you change the ratings, you can submit it. So I think the how you could do this here is edit, go to inspect elements, and find out where the submit button is. Okay, so if I click on this submit button, there's no rating. Okay, the submit button's available. I thought I removed the ratings to all the way. Yeah, it should be no rating. I'm gonna just refresh this page just to make sure. Anonymous comment is test. Captcha is 6 plus 8. What's that? That's 14. It's 9. I can still submit it, right? Because I didn't create the rating. I think before I moved it, so that's why it's enabled. So what you need to find is where this submit button is. So if you go to divs, if you keep moving, you should be able to find where the submit button is. It should say button somewhere. Expand it. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, so it's this button here, and it says here's the button submit, right? Where is it? See if I can move this button submit. This should say here disable type submit disabled. Let's see if we can enable this and see what happened, because this is a submit button. Met button disable true. Let's see if I can change this to false. I didn't do it. Let's change this to enabled. Oh, there we go. So what I did was just enable. I changed the enable to disable. Now I was managed to submit the button, and now see that I successfully found another flag. Again, these are the things you shouldn't be able to change this, right? You shouldn't be able to, users shouldn't be able to change the values of your pages on script. So that's another flag. Let's see what else. I want to go more into like these are more open source stuff. I want to go into more like cross-site scripting, SQL injection. So now let's look at some SQL injection. So if you need to find out what kind of SQL server it's running, and so best way to do is like try to throw out some weird characters and see if the server's gonna throw out some errors. I think this one related to error handling here. Okay, so let's go here to login. Let's go to the login page, and let's see if I put an apostrophe and maybe something for the password and click login. Okay, so now you see that it's thrown out an error. Okay, again, if I like to put double quote sometime as well. Okay, so that didn't change anything. So single quote, that's tell me it might be running SQLite here. So this is where you need to have some experience on what type of SQL injection you need to do. So this error shouldn't show up on a regular user. So it's not, we know that it's not doing input validation. So we might be able to run some SQL commands here to see that it's this one here. Yeah, that's the one I solved before, so I clean that. Okay, so this is creating an error, so we know that this site is injectable. Also, if you now since we have burp running on the back end, so now we can go back to the, like, I have to scroll down since we did bunch of requests, right? We are not, intercept is not running, so, but it's still capturing stuff. So the last one we did was user login here. So if you go to user login here, now we can see what's happening on the request and response here. Now if you look at the response here, you see these errors, right? So also, like I mentioned here, now it's in SQLite error. So we know the backend database is SQLite. So we are getting these type of errors because we try to put just a code. So now we see the SQL command running, select from users where email, and there's no. So remember we talked about SQL commands, right? We could also right click and try to send this to the repeater. Okay, so if you go here, so we could like modify some of the information that you want to send on the repeater. You could change here information and then try to see if you can send it. So you can get the same error handling here. Now we could keep adding some information to see what output we get on the response from the server. We could actually see what SQL commands are running. So this is very important for you guys to remember. The advantage of Burp Suite, you could see the back end stuff, and actually if you're running an application and testing them, this is the best way to test it. Since now we know the system is injectable and it's using SQLite. Remember SQLite has to use dash light dash dash at the end on a SQL command. So what I did here was I changed on my repeater. I add a single quote inside the double quotes, or okay, it's empty, so you're not providing anything, nothing, or 1 equals 1, right? And then the always you have to have a colon at the end and then dash dash. So this is the one of the easiest SQL injection, and you can provide the password as anything. If you send this request, you will see that authentication being successful. We got authentication token and we are logged in as admin. You could try this on the Juice shop as well. If you put anything this as your email address and put any password, and now you'll see that you'll be logged into the system as administrator. So that's one of the SQL injections, let you log in instead of showing all the information on the database. So it's a pretty simple one here, but you know that we found out it's injectable, and then we found out from the Burp Suite on the previous request that we looked at, we have a SQLite error, so we know SQLite. That's why we can copy or send this to your intruder, and from repeater, and you could repeat to see what how the server is going to respond back to you. Another vulnerability in this website is cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting is executing scripts on a page. So if you go to search here, if you type anything on search here, so it pops up the search here. So this is where the vulnerability on this website is. So for an example, if I want to say, like, let's say if you can like run HTML commands. So let's say I want to put a new heading. So if I put a uppercase heading and then let's say H3, and let's close that tag, and then as you see the test typed up. No, that's the one I searched. So let's see if I do test, and if I say, let's see what happens when I press enter. Oh, see here, the test I type is executing here. Looks like you could execute scripts here in the search engine. So let's see if I put BR to put another line, and let's say put another BR, and maybe let's put another heading called H1, close that, XSS. Okay, So now you see that we could execute, right? It's not putting our tags, HTML tags here, but it's giving an output of our results here. So this is where you could do the cross-site scripting. For example, you could do iframe. Okay, iframe is getting a full frame of this whole website, put it inside a frame, and you need to look at the JavaScript. This is just a basic alert box with JavaScript, and then if you run this type of, this is cross-site scripting. So now you see that that command executed and shows up the page, that search front page of this website. So we could execute command here. So that's cross-site scripting. But what if I want to like do a redirect? So this site is really nice. It's called these DOM-based attacks. So DOM-based attacks is like you can actually store the information inside a code. So this simple script here can be used for DOM-based attacks if you want to give it a try. As also, like when you type that command here, you could see here it's running a query on the search and inside the search, and this is the iframe, the frame that this is the code that's been executed. Okay, so now we know that we can execute cross-site scripting. We could do even further damage here. So now we know we can execute JavaScript. We could do this challenge need you to enter a JavaScript. So this is from, if you go to OWASP Top 10, okay, you could find all the different types of scripts that you could include. So the one I am doing it iframe, okay, that's the one they want you to do. So look for the iframe cross-site scripting. I just found it here. Where is it? Yeah, here, this one here. iframe, okay, src, JavaScript, alert. I mean, you could put anything inside this alert. So that's what I typed. I'll put this link on Canvas for you guys to type. So when you do that, let's do access it. They want this lowercase. I don't think it matters. You do that and press enter here. What did I do wrong? iframe. So JavaScript alert cross-site scripting. Oh, I'm missing a quotation there. If you run that, it's going to pop up with a cross-site scripting alert. Okay, that means we could execute something. What if we put here instead of that redirecting to a website? Those are the pretty bad ones. So hopefully you guys could execute this as well. I'm going to run the one they have here exactly as it is because I'm curious about this one here. Search here. Enter. Yeah, I'm not sure why this one had this extra on here. That's probably why. Yeah, it's a little bit different than the one I just used. But anyway, that's another challenge. Okay, so let's see. That should be. It normally should pop up with. You could also put the query up here after the Q. That's the query. So SQL looks like this is correct, and if you run this, that should do the same thing. I'm not sure why this when you run this program on see if I back to my where is it? I thought scoreboard. I guess I took the scoreboard off. I think some of the stuff on the scoreboard, some of the stuff when you run this on a what's going on? I need to log in. Don't have the interceptor running. It's acting weird. Let's see. So for some reason my scoreboard is not displayed. Yeah, I had to refresh the page. For some reason the scoreboard didn't show up. Yeah, some of the 15 challenges are not there because of a security reason. I'm not sure. Let's see what those are. Probably some of the cross-site scripting. Yeah, probably those are the ones that the one I just did the DOM base attack. That's probably doesn't work because I'm running. You could install this without a container. I'm running it on a container. That's probably why that I got that message saying that when it's running on a Docker. So that's cross-site scripting. So we did a lot today. See if there's anything else. So the next one I'm going to look at cross-site forgery. Let's see if we can get this to work. This basically, again, we need Burp to see if we can change the password for someone else by changing some of the parameters. So here, where is the password? Change password. So I'm going to go to change password. Current password is password. New password is, I'm going to say password 123. New password is password 123. Okay, I'm going to click change. Okay. So now this should be captured on our Burp Suite. So if I go to my proxy, scroll all the way down to the bottom, because we did a bunch of stuff. So there should be, I wonder if I can press the N key to go to the bottom. Yep, it worked. So here is the one we just did, right? So that's the last one, last request we sent. We said the current password is password, new password is password 123. The repeat password is password 123. So I'm going to send this to the repeater. Okay. So let's go to the repeater here and see if we can change some of these parameters and say what happens. So let's say if I want to change the current password from password to password 123, and then these ones to 123. Let's see what happens when we just change those two. Okay. So now this is good. Application handling the way it's supposed to handle. The new and repeated password do not match. Okay, that's good. What about if I change this here and then send it back? Just change the new and repeat password, the same thing. Okay, current password is not correct. Okay, so that's good. Okay, current password should be password 123. Current password should be, yeah, current password should be password 123 because we changed it. Okay, maybe let's change it to 123. Okay, and let's say new password is 123. New password is 123. Okay, let's send that. Okay, I might have not, because I thought the current password we set it up for 123 since we changed that. Okay, let's go back and see what happened here. So change password. The new password is password 123. Password 123. Okay. New password. Maybe it didn't change. Okay, let's see if I can log in. I'm gonna log out. Save. Login. Test. Actually, we logged in as using the SQL command, right? So let's see, admin. Let's see if this would work. Password 123. Okay, that didn't work because we logged in as using the SQL command, right? So the SQL command that we used, it didn't save that. Okay, here the trick is now since it's like what happens if we actually submit their information with, I think I'm going to take the current field off. I'm going to say the new password is admin123. Repeat password is admin123. See what happens. Okay, so let's delete this part. Let's send it. Okay, looks like it worked. We got the 200. Okay. Look like the password now being role is admin. Passwords. Now the password has been changed to admin123, admin123. And now let's see if we can log in with that change password to the admin account now. So if I go back here, I know my username is that, password is admin123. I finished that challenge. Login. That's the one we did before. Admin123. Okay, now we can log in as admin123. That's similar to cross-site forgery. So we did a lot here. There's a whole, TryHackMe has a whole list of challenges you could do here. I'll probably assign that assignment. So now you have some kind of information to start with and go explore further.